Well, hello and welcome to another video in this great channel of mine. Today I want to talk about the new movie for Superman. That's right, so recently I made a video talking about 28 years later. Now I'm making this video about the Superman movie. And upcoming there will be a new video also on the Fantastic Four. So stay tuned for that, but as of now I'm making this video on Superman and what I thought about the movie. So that has been the introduction, let's just talk about the movie itself. Well, first of all, I would like to say that I don't consider myself a DC fan. Now, I've watched the most recent Batman movie, I really liked that, and I really liked Something in the Way. I wasn't expecting that to be in the movie at all, and that was a big surprise, I love that. I also watched the first Joker movie. I didn't watch the second one because from what I've heard, from what happens in the movie, they really butchered the character everyone loved, and I'm not watching it because of that. But the first one, I really liked it, so it was another great movie as well. Other than that, let's say that I watched Man of Steel a long time ago, and more recently I watched it again a few months ago, maybe 8 months, something like that. Now, I like the Man of Steel, but it really doesn't feel like a comic movie. It feels like an alien movie from the 2000s, you know, that 2000s grit, Call of Duty and all of that. It feels like a Call of Duty movie. There's Battle LA for comparison, but yeah, that movie, I liked it, but it wasn't great. So yeah, that's basically all the contact I've had with DC. I don't remember watching any other movie from DC, nor reading any comic. So I came to this movie, Superman, without any expectations, and let's just say that I was really surprised. I liked the movie, I think it was a great movie. Not the best I've ever seen, and also not perfect. From a rate of 1 to 10, I would give this movie an 8 out of 10. Because of a few things the movie has, like if you really stop to think about the logic behind the movie, some of what happens doesn't make much sense. It's sort of this, oh, so yeah, this big bad guy, he wants to kill Superman. He has the chance to kill Superman many times, but he decides not to. And toward the end of the movie, he wants to kill Superman, but he obviously fails completely and he's defeated, and that was so obvious that he would be defeated. So if you really stop to think about the logic of the movie, it doesn't make sense at all. And also, it is so bizarre to have people with cell phones and paper newspapers, like actual physical newspapers, on hands. That's so bizarre to see. It's like, what type of dystopian alternative timeline is this, that people use cell phones while they read physical newspaper? That's so bizarre from the movie, but yeah, whatever, that happens. All of that part, I think it is with the Daily Planet. Is that the name of the newspaper that Clark Kent works at? I think it is Daily Planet. You know, all of that part with the journalists and writing the news and all of that, I think it was pretty fun. I like the characters, I think they are pretty unique, and I just have no complaint at all. The Superman character himself I also liked. I liked the Superdog, and yes, there will be spoilers in this video. I liked Supergirl towards the end of the movie. Nice cameo. I guess they will explain her maybe in a future movie or not. I don't know. Yeah, I liked all of those characters. I also liked the villains. Now, again, I'm not a big DC fan, so this was basically my introduction to Lex Luthor. And toward the as the movie goes by, you can really understand his motivation. He's the rich, evil guy who wants to control the world and who wants to take down all of the meta-humans and all of that. And the movie makes his intentions very clear. Although for a smart, rich guy, he seems pretty dumb. talking about the things that I think could have been better in the movie, I think the beginning could have been better. Now we just see there's the hammer of what is Boravia. Is that how that nation is called? I think it is Boravia. So there's the hammer of Boravia, or whatever it is the name. There's the hammer. He's kicking Superman's ass, and we see less than 5 minutes of him in that costume. I know he comes back and he is revealed to be the clone of Superman, but honestly, if they showed much more of this fight between the Hammer and Superman, I would have liked it much more. The movie starts with him being defeated, like Superman is defeated, he needs to be healed and needs to go back to the fight, and we don't see much of the Hammer. I think the Hammer was like, from all the villains in the movie, I think the Hammer was the most interesting one, and unfortunately the one we see the least. And later he's revealed to be, the clone of Superman, and he has just long hair and he's dumb, so he's easily controllable, just like, the masses of people around the world. So there's that. And I think his fight between Superman and his clone was also nice, but honestly, the things I would change in the movie as it is, for myself, so it can be a 10 out of 10 movie for me, is that at the very beginning, when Clark gets into his Superman persona and is being interviewed by his girlfriend, I think it's Louise, her name, when he's being interviewed by her, I would have liked if the movie showed many flashbacks of him coming from space, him growing up, him becoming a hero. It doesn't need to be long flashbacks. It could have been very short flashbacks. That would have been nice, but the movie doesn't show any of that at all, and it doesn't show what Superman did at that country, the desert country that he saved. It doesn't show any of that, so it's up to imagination. I have to imagine what he did there, that the people there love him now. So I would have liked if they showed flashbacks of his backstory. There's always someone who doesn't know who Superman is. And me, myself, I know the basics, I know the basic story of Superman, but I would have liked if the movie started with short flashbacks to show him who he is and what he's doing. So yeah, that's the first thing. I would have changed that. And the other thing I would have changed is at the very end of the movie, after Superman beats up his clone, wins after him, I would have liked if the clone went back and dressed up in his hammer suit, and it is revealed that this hammer suit is really strong. It's not kryptonite, but it is of a very strong material, and he dresses back and he goes back into the fight and fights Superman, and it is revealed that he is by nature a very good fighter. He didn't need to be controlled by Lex and his scientists to fight well. So that would have been a nice twist, and Superman realizes, oh, this guy actually, he was being controlled, but he is very strong. So there's this big fight towards the end, and Superman almost loses. I would have liked that. The movie, the fight was sort of like that, but without the hammer. I just really like the hammer design. I would have loved to see it more. And that's that. So to close up this video, this is now the outro. I'm not a DC fan, as I said earlier, but I like this movie. I think it was really good. It is definitely better than Man of Steel, and it gives me hope that, of course, I love Marvel movies. I've watched almost all of them very recently as well, and the MCU, I have high expectations for the Fantastic Four movie, for the next Spider-Man movie, and for the two next Avengers movies. But I think now that the MCU is cooling down, it's slowing down, I have hope that the DCU, the new James Gunn DCU, will rise up and we will actually have good movies, because, I didn't watch most of the other Flash and Suicide Squad movies and all of that from I think his name is Jack Snyder, something like that. Zack Snyder, I think is his name. Honestly, having him to direct Man of Steel and later, Justice League and all of that was the worst decision ever for the DCU. So with James Gunn, I have hope that in the next years, we'll have great DC movies, and I'll also become a DC fan as well. I have no intentions of reading the comics. I never read any Marvel comic, and yet I'm a fan of the MCU. I hope the same happens to the DCU. They make a bunch of really good movies, create this really good universe, and maybe, who knows, in the very distant future we can have a crossover between the two, DCU and MCU, That has happened in the comics, I know about that, and in some games I think as well. So that would be great for this to happen in between the DCU and the MCU. That would be great. So that has been my video. Leave in the comments what you thought about this movie. Probably the Snyder fanboys will crash down and say that I'm a stupid dumb man for liking this movie and all of that. But honestly, it's a great movie. It could have been better, but it currently is already great. So leave in the comments what you think, subscribe, and until the next video.